A thread by Carlos Oswita. Kim_me153 asks me about this. Justin Amash tweets, anti-war President Donald Trump has launched more air and drone strikes in Somalia over just the last year than Barack Obama did over all 8 years, and about as many strikes per year as George W. Bush and Obama combined, and totaled from 2002 war's start to January 2017 inauguration. Carlos responds, it goes without saying that Justin Amash is lying, but we need to look at the broader point. President Trump is anti-war. How many wars has he started? The fact is that the total number of drone strikes Obama authorized in Somalia is not known. From WashingtonTimes.com, Trump takes out terrorists, boxes in Biden with drone strikes. Amash links to a Time magazine article that begins with a lie. From Time magazine, the Trump administration's airstrikes in Somalia are on the rise again. This is not damage from airstrikes. The holes were made by munitions fired from the ground. And in 43 airstrikes, we have 1 civilian death. I'm assuming Amash and Time magazine want a good old ground war instead. The Soviets killed 1 million Afghan civilians. Sounds pretty moral to me. Why are we conducting airstrikes? Because Al-Shabaab is attacking us. We kill them with low-yield precision-guided munitions, PGMs. Low yield means vastly reduced collateral damage. In the past, aerial munitions killed with blast effect and fragmentation. Collateral damage was far greater. We are not dropping general-purpose high-explosive munitions on civilians, and the U.S. Air Force is using classified technology. We don't actually know what the munitions are. Many of the airstrikes are carried out by fixed-wing gunships. Some of the munitions are filled with concrete. These guys took it right in the face. The U.S. military planted a hilarious story that this is the R9X Ginsu missile, or Ginsu missile. 6 swords pop right out before impact. Everybody believes this. It doesn't matter that the bomb damage assessment, BDA, shows no evidence whatsoever of sword blades. All you need is concrete. Each of these is filled with 1 ton of concrete. YouTube video in the thread, MK84 inert. So it's just this big old block of concrete that hits the ground with hardly any sound. It's kind of cool. The Israelis invented this in 1982. We also have a new targeting system. My guess is that it's using white visible laser. White visible laser transmits a massive amount of data. Give the target 1 hit of laser and the system locks in. This is a white visible laser beam on the right of the screen. Islamic State assault troops killed to a man from behind. The video was recovered from the dead cameraman. They attacked using armored vehicles as cover. Ground troops appeared from spider holes behind them that the terrorists missed, got the range and everything else with visible white laser targeting systems, and opened fire with guided bullets. Yes, they exist. Believe me, Justin Amash doesn't give a damn about human life. The only people who care about civilians are Trump, the U.S. Armed Forces, and the armed forces of our allies. Look at this lying Islamic bastard from SyriaDirect.org. He claims he's on a Trump kill list and that the U.S. has tried and failed to kill him 5 times with drones. See the little problems with that? We don't fail even once, much less 5 times. He's not important enough to kill, and Trump doesn't have a kill list. The armed forces are no longer required to ask the president for permission before they belch. And the CIA reports to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. The press thinks that Obama created the, quote, disposition matrix. Nope. It was a term long in use before Obama adopted it. Quote, key points of the disposition matrix include low-risk offenders remain in the community with minimal supervision, moderate-risk offenders typically placed in more structured community programs with intensive probation supervision for higher-risk youth, residential placement reserved for the highest-risk offenders after community-based alternatives have been exhausted. djj.state.fl.us. Press gets all its information from Wikipedia. Obama's disposition matrix allowed him to micromanage what was done with all terrorists. It wasn't a friggin' kill list. There's absolutely no way Trump micromanages anything. He trusts the armed forces and the current compartmentalized CIA. Before I started defending Saudi Arabia's actions in Yemen, I looked at the evidence. Absolutely no evidence whatsoever of war crimes. The accusation was that they were using massively expensive precision-guided munitions to terror bomb civilians. Why? To prevent collateral damage, these random civilians were to be terror bombed, but the neighbors had to be spared at all costs. The evidence was bomb fragments from weapons sold to the Saudis up to 25 years ago. But the bomb damage was never the signature of high explosive munitions. Look at this house. No evidence of fragmentation and no damage to the adjoining buildings. A perfect precision airstrike. All the debris flew into the street, either directed blast effect or concrete-filled munitions or both. No high explosive bombs. I never saw any evidence of Saudi war crimes. Final point. Barack Obama started a civil war in Libya that Trump and his Arab allies ended. Being anti-war does not mean that you don't kill terrorists. It means that you don't start wars. Why is absolute perfection now the standard? We killed 20,000 French civilians on D-Day. If Trump were president back then, the American press would be interviewing Waffen-SS to let them spread propaganda about the heartlessness of accidentally killing civilians. We were at a Morton's fork. Liberate Europe at the cost of innocent lives, or let the Nazis rule Europe and send millions to the extermination camps. Hey, Justin Amash, was D-Day immoral? I don't expect an answer from a Stelter smiler. One more time, guys. Stelter? Amash. Stelter? Amash. Trump accepts that some people must be killed. Al-Shabaab is one of the most savage Islamist groups on earth. They specialize in tortures that I won't even describe. Somali civilians are not in danger from the U.S. Air Force or Trump. This isn't a kindergarten game. Show some respect for the dead. Stop using them as political pawns, you soulless homunculus.